I don't think caring about your social media presence is shallow. Everyone curates their image online. Everyone wants their feed to look good. Everyone posts the best versions of themselves and their lives. That's just normal. That's just how social media works. That's just being smart about your personal brand. So, when I told my boyfriend that he wasn't photogenic enough to post on my Instagram, I wasn't being mean. I was being honest. I was being practical. I was managing my aesthetic. And he shouldn't have taken it so personally. He shouldn't have gotten so offended. He shouldn't have retaliated by posting the worst possible pictures of me on his story for all his followers to see. That was cruel. That was vindictive. That was completely disproportionate to what I said. All I did was tell him the truth. All I did was explain that my Instagram has a certain vibe and he doesn't fit that vibe. All I did was ask him to understand that my social media presence is important to me. And he punished me for it by humiliating me publicly. But everyone acts like I'm the villain, like I deserved what he did. Like telling someone they're not attractive enough for your Instagram is somehow worse than posting someone's ugly pictures for thousands of people to see. Let me explain what actually happened, because the story that's going around is completely distorted, because people love to make me the bad guy without understanding the context. Here's the situation. I've been with my boyfriend Derek for about 8 months. Good relationship. He's sweet, attentive, treats me well. We have fun together. He makes me laugh. He's supportive. But he's not Instagram boyfriend material. I don't mean that in a cruel way. I mean it objectively. He's not conventionally attractive. He doesn't know how to pose. He doesn't dress particularly well. He's not the kind of guy who looks good in photos. In person, he's fine. He's perfectly adequate. He has a nice smile. He's tall. He's not ugly, but he's not photogenic. And in the age of social media, that matters. My Instagram is important to me. I've built a following of 47,000 people over 3 years of consistent posting, strategic engagement, and careful aesthetic development. It didn't happen overnight. It took work, real work. I studied other influencers, learned about color grading, invested in a good camera and editing apps, figured out optimal posting times and hashtag strategies, engaged authentically with followers, responded to comments, built a community. I turned my Instagram from a casual photo dump into a cohesive professional brand. And it paid off. Literally. I get brand deals now. Companies send me products to review. I get paid for sponsored posts. I've made connections that led to actual job opportunities. My Instagram opened doors that would have stayed closed otherwise. Last month alone, I made $3,000 from sponsored content. That's real money. That's rent and groceries and student loan payments. That's not just vanity, it's income. My Instagram is part of my career strategy. It's part of my professional identity. It's how I network, how I build my personal brand, how I position myself in my industry. And it has a specific aesthetic that makes it successful. Clean lines, neutral colors, beautiful locations, carefully curated outfits, a feed that looks cohesive when you view it as a whole. Each photo complements the ones around it. There's a rhythm, a visual story. My followers expect that. They follow me for that specific vibe, that specific look, that specific feeling my feed gives them. I'm selling them an aspirational lifestyle. A version of life that looks effortless and beautiful and perfect. Even though behind the scenes, it's hours of planning and editing and strategizing. But that's the point. The illusion is what people pay for. The fantasy is what brands want to be associated with. The perfection is what makes it work. And Derek doesn't fit that aesthetic. It's not personal. It's not about him as a person. It's about what works visually for my brand. He's a great boyfriend in real life, supportive, kind, funny, attentive. We have fun together. We connect on an emotional level. We have genuine chemistry when we're alone together. But he doesn't photograph well. And in the world of Instagram influencing, that matters. I'm not saying it should matter. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just saying it's reality. If I post photos with him, my engagement will drop. My aesthetic will be disrupted. My carefully built brand will take a hit. And I've worked too hard to let that happen. Is that shallow? Maybe. But it's also practical. It's business. It's protecting an asset I've spent years building. My ex understood that. He was naturally photogenic. He knew how to pose. He understood angles and lighting. He elevated my content instead of detracting from it. When I posted photos with him, engagement went up. People commented about how good we looked together, how aspirational our relationship seemed, how perfect everything was. That's what worked. That's what people want to see. Derek is sweet, but he squints in bright light. He doesn't know how to stand to look taller. He wears graphic tees and cargo shorts to nice places. He makes weird faces when he's trying to smile naturally. In person, it's endearing. On my Instagram feed, it's a liability. And I don't understand why being honest about that makes me the bad guy. For the first few months of our relationship, I just didn't post him. Posted solo shots. Posted friend group shots where he wasn't included. Posted carefully cropped photos where you couldn't see him. It worked fine. My feed looked great. My engagement stayed high. No one knew I was in a relationship unless they knew me personally. But then, Derek started getting upset about it. Why don't you ever post me? I don't post relationship stuff. It's not my brand. You posted your ex. I've seen the photos in your archive. That was true. I had posted my ex. But my ex was objectively hot. He photographed well. He knew how to pose. He elevated my aesthetic rather than detracting from it. But I couldn't say that to Derek, so I made excuses. That relationship was different. I was younger. I've evolved my brand since then. So your brand is pretending you're single. My brand is aspirational lifestyle content. Relationship stuff doesn't fit. Other influencers post their boyfriends all the time. Well, I'm not other influencers. He dropped it. But I could tell he was hurt. Could tell he felt like I was hiding him. Ashamed of him. Which wasn't true. I wasn't ashamed of him as a person. I just didn't want to post him on my carefully curated Instagram feed. But he kept bringing it up. Kept asking when I'd post him. Kept mentioning how all his exes had posted him and why was I different. Finally, after he'd been complaining for weeks, I decided to just be honest. Better to rip off the Band-Aid. Better to explain my reasoning clearly so he'd understand. Better to be truthful than to keep making excuses. We were at his apartment, Saturday afternoon, looking through photos from a trip we'd taken to the beach the previous weekend. He was scrolling through them on his phone, smiling at the memories. "This one's nice," he said, turning the screen to show me a picture of us together. The ocean in the background. Sunset lighting. Us smiling at the camera. "You should post this. We look happy." I looked at it critically. Analyzed it the way I analyze all potential content. The lighting was good. The location was beautiful. The composition was decent. But I looked awkward. The wind had caught my hair at a weird angle, and my smile looked forced. And Derek looked like Derek, squinting slightly in the bright light, his smile more of a grimace, his t-shirt wrinkled and unflattering, his posture slightly hunched. I don't think so. Why not? We both look happy. It's a good memory. That was a fun day. It's not really the vibe I'm going for on my feed right now. What vibe? It's just a photo of us at the beach. The beach is inherently aesthetic. You post beach content all the time. I post carefully curated beach content. This is just a snapshot. It's not up to my standards. Your standards for what? For looking happy with your boyfriend? I could feel my frustration rising. Why couldn't he just accept this? Why did he have to push? Derek, my Instagram has standards, production standards, aesthetic standards. Every photo has to fit the overall feed, has to maintain the quality my followers expect. This photo doesn't meet those standards. Because I'm in it. Because it's not a good photo technically. The composition is off. The lighting isn't quite right. It looks amateur. You posted plenty of amateur-looking photos when you were with Trevor. I've seen them in your archive. You guys at random parties, at his apartment, just hanging out. Those weren't professionally composed or aesthetically perfect. He was right. I had posted more casual content with my ex, but my following was smaller then. My brand wasn't as developed. My standards weren't as high. And Trevor looked good in casual snapshots. Derek didn't. But I couldn't say that without starting a fight. That was years ago. My content has evolved. My brand has evolved. I have higher standards now. More followers. More at stake. I can't just post random snapshots anymore. Other influencers post their boyfriends. I've seen your friends post their partners. They don't seem worried about ruining their aesthetic. That's their choice. I have different priorities for my feed. Your priority being pretending you're single? My priority being maintaining the brand I've built. A brand that doesn't include me. A brand where I don't exist. A brand where you erase an entire relationship because what? Because I'm not pretty enough to be seen with you. That's not what this is about. Then what is it about? Explain it to me. Make it make sense. Why can you post friends, family, locations, outfits, food, everything else in your life, but not your boyfriend? I took a deep breath. This was it. Time to just be honest. Time to explain my reasoning so he'd understand. Derek, can I be completely honest with you? Really honest? No more excuses? Apparently not, since you've been making excuses for months. But sure, go ahead, be honest. Fine. You want the truth? You're not photogenic enough for my Instagram. You don't know how to pose. You don't understand angles or lighting. You don't dress well for photos. Your natural expression in photos is squinting or grimacing. You don't fit the aesthetic I've built. And I've worked really hard on that aesthetic. I've spent years developing it. I've turned it into an income stream. I'm not going to compromise it by posting pictures that don't meet my standards. The silence that followed was deafening. He just stared at me, his expression shifting from confused to hurt to angry to something I couldn't quite read. You're saying I'm not attractive enough for your Instagram. I'm saying you're not photogenic. There's a difference. Lots of people are attractive in person, but don't photograph well. It's not an insult. It's just an observation. Not attractive enough for Instagram is literally saying I'm not good-looking enough to be publicly associated with you. That's not. Instagram isn't about being publicly associated. It's about brand. It's about aesthetic. It's about maintaining an image. An image that doesn't include me because I'm too ugly. You're not ugly. You're just not photogenic. Those are different things. Not to me. Not when it results in my girlfriend hiding our entire relationship because she's embarrassed to be seen with me. I'm not embarrassed by you. I'm just being strategic about my content. Strategic about avoiding posting your boyfriend because he doesn't meet your aesthetic standards. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear how that sounds? It sounds like I'm being professional about something that matters to my career. Your career of posting pretty pictures on Instagram. That career. Yes, that career that makes me real money. That career that's opened real doors for me. That career that I've built from nothing. And that career is more important than showing the world you're in a relationship with me. It's not about importance. It's about maintaining consistency, about not compromising the brand I've built. The brand you've built on looking perfect and hiding anything that doesn't fit that perfection, including me. Derek, you're taking this way too personally. How else should I take it? You just told me I'm not good-looking enough to be posted on your Instagram. You just said I don't meet your aesthetic standards. You just explained that you've been hiding me for months because I'm not attractive enough for your feed. How am I supposed to take that? As a practical reality of social media. as understanding that online presence and real life are different things, as accepting that not everything in our relationship needs to be public. You posted Trevor all the time, multiple times a week. You didn't have a problem being public with him. Trevor was... I stopped myself, but it was too late. Trevor was what? More photogenic, better looking, more aesthetic? I didn't answer. Couldn't answer. Because yes, that was exactly what I was going to say. So yes, Derek said quietly. You think I'm uglier than your ex. You think I'm not attractive enough to be associated with your online image. You think I'm good enough to date in private but not good enough to show off in public. Instagram isn't public. Instagram is curated. It's not real life. It's the face you show the world. It's how you want to be perceived. It's who you want people to think you are. And apparently, who you want to be is someone who isn't with me. Someone who dates more attractive men. Someone whose boyfriend is Instagram-worthy. You're making this about attractiveness when it's about photography. They're the same thing on Instagram. Being photogenic is being attractive on Instagram, and you're saying I'm not either. I'm saying you don't know how to pose. I'm saying you need to work on your photo skills. So I need to change to be good enough for you, to meet your standards, to fit your aesthetic. I'm just saying if you want to be posted, you need to put in more effort. No, absolutely not. I shouldn't have to put in effort to be good enough for my girlfriend to acknowledge our relationship publicly. I shouldn't have to learn to pose or dress better or smile differently to meet some arbitrary aesthetic standard. I should be enough as I am, and if I'm not, then this relationship isn't what I thought it was. He stood up. I need you to leave. What? Derek, don't be ridiculous. We can talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. You just told me I'm too ugly for your Instagram after I've been asking you for months why you won't post me. After I've been feeling like you're hiding me, feeling like something was wrong. And now I know what's wrong. I'm wrong. I don't meet your standards. I'm not attractive enough for you. That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said. You just used different words. You said I'm not photogenic enough, not aesthetic enough, not up to your standards. But it all means the same thing. I'm not good enough. Derek, you're enough for me in real life. Just not for Instagram. Why can't you understand the difference? Because there shouldn't be a difference. Because if you're ashamed of me online, you're ashamed of me. Period. You can't separate the two. I'm not ashamed. Then post a picture of us, right now. Prove you're not ashamed. I'm not going to compromise my carefully built feed just to prove a point. And I'm not going to stay in a relationship with someone who thinks I'm too ugly to be seen with her. Leave, please. I need to think about whether this relationship is something I want to continue. You're breaking up with me over Instagram? I'm considering breaking up with you over you valuing your Instagram aesthetic more than you value me. Over you being more concerned with follower engagement than with my feelings. Over you thinking, I'm not attractive enough to be publicly associated with you. So, yeah, maybe I am breaking up with you over Instagram. Or maybe I'm breaking up with you because Instagram revealed how shallow you really are. The next day, I woke up to 47 Instagram notifications, DMs, comments, tags, all from people I knew, some from people I didn't know, all variations of the same thing. OMG, I'm dying. Is this real? I can't believe he posted this. You must be so embarrassed. My stomach dropped. I opened Instagram, went to Derek's profile. His story had 3 slides. The first was a photo of me, the absolute worst photo I'd ever seen of myself. Mid-sneeze, eyes half closed, mouth wide open, double chin prominent, hair a mess. The caption, "My girlfriend is so photogenic." The second was another terrible photo. Me eating, food visible in my open mouth, unflattering angle from below, looking like I had no neck. Caption, "She has such a good aesthetic." The third was me sleeping, mouth open, drool visible on the pillow, hair everywhere, looking absolutely feral. Caption, So glad she thinks I'm good enough for her real life, even though I'm too ugly for her Instagram. I felt sick. These photos had been taken over months. Candid moments, private moments, unflattering angles he'd caught when I wasn't posing. And he'd posted them, all of them, for all his 3,000 followers to see. I immediately DM'd him. "Take those down right now." No response. "Derek, I'm serious, delete them." No response. "This isn't funny, you're humiliating me." No response. I called. Straight to voicemail. I texted. Delivered but not read. The photos stayed up for the full 24 hours of a story's lifespan. And people were screenshotting them, sharing them, laughing at them, laughing at me. My carefully curated image was being destroyed by 3 photos I never consented to being shared. The worst part? People were taking his side. Comments on his post, which he'd screenshotted and posted to his grid, making them permanent. "Bro dodged a bullet." Imagine being that shallow. She deserves this honestly. Telling someone they're too ugly for your Instagram is wild. He's actually better looking than her in her real photos, lol. This is the most perfect revenge I've ever seen. By the end of the day, his post had 15,000 likes, more engagement than he'd ever gotten on anything. He was gaining followers. People were following him to support him, to laugh at me, to celebrate his perfect revenge. And I was losing followers. Hundreds of them. My carefully cultivated audience was abandoning me because they thought I was shallow, vapid, mean. Which I wasn't. I was just honest about the realities of social media. But no one cared about that. They just cared about the narrative. Mean girlfriend tells boyfriend he's ugly. Boyfriend brilliantly humiliates her in response. I was the villain, he was the hero, and I couldn't do anything about it. After 48 hours of silence, Derek finally responded to my messages. "Hope you learned something about posting people without their consent." "I never posted you without your consent. I just didn't post you at all. And you told me it was because I'm too ugly. So I showed everyone what you look like when you're not posing for your fake Instagram aesthetic. Those photos are private. You took those without me knowing. I didn't consent to being photographed like that. And I didn't consent to being told I'm not attractive enough for your social media. So I guess we're even." "We're not even. You humiliated me publicly. You posted photos that make me look disgusting. You ruined my reputation. I posted photos of what you actually look like. If you think they make you look disgusting, maybe you should think about the unrealistic standards you hold yourself and everyone else to. Those are not what I actually look like. Those are bad angles, bad moments. Everyone has unflattering photos." Exactly. Everyone has unflattering photos. Everyone looks bad sometimes. But you've built this whole fake persona where you only show perfect moments, where you only associate with people who meet your aesthetic standards, where you judge your own boyfriend as not good-looking enough to be seen with you. Maybe seeing yourself in an unflattering light will help you develop some empathy. This isn't about empathy. This is about you violating my privacy and humiliating me. You violated my feelings when you told me I'm too ugly for your Instagram. You humiliated me in private. I just returned the favor in public. So this is revenge. This is consequences. Consequences for what? For being honest? For caring about my social media presence? Consequences for being shallow? For valuing appearances over people? For treating your boyfriend like he's not good enough because he doesn't photograph well? I do value you, just not on Instagram. That sentence right there is the problem, and the fact that you don't see why makes this conversation pointless. Derek, please, delete the posts. We can talk about this. We can work through this. No, we can't, because you don't think you did anything wrong. You think I'm overreacting. You think caring about your Instagram aesthetic is more important than caring about your boyfriend's feelings, and I deserve better than that. Are you breaking up with me over Instagram? I'm breaking up with you over you telling me I'm not attractive enough to be associated with you publicly. Instagram is just the platform where you said it. I didn't say you're not attractive. I said you're not photogenic. Goodbye. Don't contact me again. And maybe think about why being Instagram official matters so much that you'd rather hide your entire relationship than post a few less than perfect photos. And then he blocked me. On everything. Phone, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, email. Complete radio silence. I'd lost my boyfriend, my reputation, hundreds of followers, potential brand deals. Companies were messaging me saying they were going in a different direction after recent events. All because I told him the truth about why I didn't post him. All because I was honest about my Instagram aesthetic. All because I refused to compromise my carefully built brand. That was 2 months ago. My follow account is slowly recovering. I lost about 2,000 followers in the immediate aftermath, but I've gained about half of them back through consistent posting and damage control. But the damage is done. The stain on my reputation is permanent. Every time I post now, there are comments referencing it, no matter what the content is, no matter how carefully I've curated it, no matter how perfect the aesthetic is. Better make sure everyone in this photo meets your aesthetic standards, lol. Hope your friends are photogenic enough to post. This is giving "you're too ugly for my Instagram" energy. Imagine being this shallow. Remember when she told her boyfriend he was too ugly to post? Your feed is pretty, but you're ugly on the inside. On and on. Every single post, hundreds of comments. I can't delete them fast enough. I've had to turn off comments on some posts entirely. Had to limit who can comment to only people I follow. Had to block dozens of accounts daily. Had to develop thick skin for the constant mockery and judgment. Brand deals dried up for a while. Companies that had been interested suddenly went in a different direction. Campaigns I was supposed to be part of quietly dropped me. My income from Instagram dropped by 60% for the first month. It's recovering now. Some brands don't care about drama, they just care about engagement numbers. And ironically, the drama boosted my engagement. My posts get more comments now, even if half of them are people mocking me. So financially, I'm almost back to where I was. But reputationally, I'm destroyed. I'm known as that girl who told her boyfriend he was too ugly for Instagram. That's my identifier now. That's what I'm famous for, not my aesthetic, not my content quality, not the brand I spent years building, just that one moment of honesty that somehow became my entire identity online. And Derek, he's thriving. His follower count tripled in the first week after posting those photos. He went from 3,000 followers to 10,000. Now he's at 15,000. He's become some kind of folk hero, the guy who brilliantly got revenge on his shallow girlfriend, the everyman who stood up to Instagram culture, the hero who humiliated the mean influencer. People love him. They comment on all his posts telling him how great he is, how he dodged a bullet, how he deserves better, how he's a king. And he leans into it, posts self-deprecating humor about being not photogenic enough, shares candid, unflattering photos of himself with captions like, "Posting this even though it might ruin someone's aesthetic." He's turned being not Instagram-worthy into his brand, and it's working. He gets more engagement now than I do. More genuine comments, more real connections with his followers. He's dating someone new now too. I found out through mutual friends before I saw it on Instagram. Her name is Rachel. She's pretty. Not Instagram model pretty, just regular person pretty. The kind of pretty that exists in real life without filters and perfect lighting. And he posts her constantly. Candid photos, unflattering angles, weird faces, mid-laugh shots where her face is scrunched up. Photos where she's eating and you can see the food. Photos where she's just woken up with messy hair and no makeup. Every single messy, imperfect, real moment that I would never post. And people love it. His comment sections are full of people praising how authentic and real their relationship is, how refreshing it is to see unfiltered love, how they upgraded from someone shallow to someone with depth, as if I didn't have depth, as if I was shallow just because I curated my social media carefully. One of his posts, a particularly unflattering photo of Rachel mid-sneeze with the caption, "She's photogenic AF," went viral, got picked up by meme accounts, shared by people commenting on how this is what real love looks like. And in every comment section, someone mentions me. This is such a flex after dating that girl who thought he was too ugly to post. I can't escape it. I can't move past it. I can't rebuild my reputation because I'm forever tied to this narrative where I'm the villain and he's the hero. I've tried apologizing publicly, posted a statement about how I was wrong and shallow and learned my lesson, about how I value authenticity now and understand that perfection is overrated. The comments called it performative, said I was only apologizing because I got caught, said I didn't mean it and was just trying to save my brand, which, maybe they were right. Maybe I was just trying to save my brand. Maybe I still don't fully believe I was wrong. I've tried reaching out to Derek privately, apologizing directly, asking him to please stop leveraging our relationship for content, asking him to move on. He blocked me everywhere. Won't respond, won't engage, just continues posting his perfectly imperfect content with his new girlfriend who's apparently everything I wasn't. Authentic, real, comfortable with imperfection. I've tried moving forward with new content, pivoting my brand slightly toward learning from mistakes and growing as a person, posting more candid content, showing some of the behind-the-scenes messiness, but it feels forced. My followers can tell I'm not being genuine. They comment that I'm only doing it because Derek exposed me, that I'm fake, even when trying to be real. I can't win. If I maintain my perfectly curated aesthetic, I'm shallow and fake. If I post more candid content, I'm being performative and fake. There's no right move, no way to recover from being labeled as the girl who values Instagram more than real people. And maybe that's fair. Maybe that's exactly what I deserve. Maybe there is no recovering from that because it's fundamentally true. Maybe I do value Instagram more than I value real human connection. Maybe I have been building a shallow, empty brand that prioritizes appearance over substance. Maybe Derek saw that and got out before wasting more time on someone who cares more about likes than love. Or maybe, and this is what I still think sometimes late at night when I'm analyzing my engagement metrics, maybe the world just doesn't understand how important social media is to people like me. Maybe they don't get that your Instagram is your identity now, that your online presence is your real life, that curating your image isn't shallow, it's necessary. Maybe I wasn't wrong to have standards. I was just wrong to say them out loud. Maybe I wasn't wrong to value my aesthetic. I was just wrong to expect Derek to understand. Maybe I wasn't wrong at all. Maybe I was just honest in a world that punishes honesty and rewards pretty lies. That's what I tell myself when I need to feel better, when I need to believe I'm not the villain everyone says I am. But then I look at his Instagram, at those candid photos of Rachel, at the genuine happiness in those imperfect moments, at the real connection that comes through even in unflattering angles, and I wonder what I really lost, and whether it was worth what I kept. People tell me I got what I deserved, that I was shallow, that I was cruel, that I valued my Instagram aesthetic over my boyfriend's feelings. And maybe they're right, but I don't understand why caring about how you're perceived online is such a terrible thing. Social media is part of our lives now. It's part of our identity. It's how we present ourselves to the world. And wanting that presentation to be polished and professional and aesthetically pleasing, that's not shallow. That's just being smart about your personal brand. Everyone curates their social media. Everyone posts their best moments. Everyone uses filters and good lighting and flattering angles. I just took it seriously. I just built something real. I just refused to compromise the image I'd worked so hard to create. Is that really so wrong? My friends say yes. My family says yes. The internet definitely says yes. But I still don't fully understand why. Derek wasn't wrong when he said everyone has unflattering photos. Everyone does. We all look bad sometimes. But that's exactly why we don't post those photos. That's exactly why we curate. That's exactly why we choose what to share and what to keep private. I was just applying that same logic to my boyfriend, choosing not to share the unflattering moments, keeping the less than perfect parts of my life private. How is that different from what everyone else does? The only difference is I was honest about it. I told him directly instead of making excuses. I explained my reasoning instead of hiding it. And that honesty is what got me punished. If I'd just kept making excuses, kept saying I don't post relationship content, kept avoiding the truth, maybe he never would have gotten upset. Maybe he would have accepted it. Maybe none of this would have happened. So, was the mistake being shallow? Or was the mistake being honest about being shallow? I genuinely don't know anymore. My therapist, because yes, I'm seeing a therapist now to deal with the fallout, says I have issues with self-worth tied to external validation. She says I measure my value by Instagram likes and follow accounts and brand deals, that I've internalized the idea that beauty and aesthetic perfection equal worth, that I'm terrified of being seen as less than perfect because I believe that would make me worthless. She says that's why I couldn't post Derek, not because he wasn't photogenic, but because I was afraid that posting someone less attractive would make me look less valuable by association. She says it's not about him at all. It's about my own deep-seated insecurity that I try to manage through control of my image. She says a lot of things that make sense in her office, but feel wrong everywhere else. Because Derek genuinely wasn't photogenic. That was just objective fact. It wasn't about my insecurity. It was about maintaining the brand I'd built. Although, maybe she has a point about the association thing. Maybe I was worried that if I posted him, people would think I couldn't do better, that I was settling, that I wasn't as desirable as my Instagram suggested. Maybe I was afraid that my carefully constructed image of being this aspirational person with a perfect life would crumble if people saw that my boyfriend was just normal, not model gorgeous, not exceptionally stylish, not Instagram-worthy, just a regular guy who loved me but didn't fit the fantasy. But admitting that means admitting I chose my Instagram image over a real relationship with a real person who cared about me. And that's harder to accept than saying I was just being practical about my brand. Sometimes I scroll through Derek's new girlfriend's Instagram. Her feed is normal, regular photos. Some are flattering, some aren't. Some are clearly posed, some are candid. There's no cohesive aesthetic, no color scheme, no carefully planned grid. It's just life. Documented honestly, without filter or curation or strategic brand management. And it has 800 followers. She's not an influencer. She doesn't get brand deals. She's just a normal person with a normal Instagram account posting normal photos of her normal life. And Derek posts her constantly, with pride, with affection, with zero concern about whether she fits his aesthetic or makes him look good or photographs well. He just posts her because he loves her and wants to share that love with people who care about him. And I look at my feed, my perfectly curated, aesthetically cohesive, highly engaged feed with thousands of followers. And I wonder what it's worth. I built this. I created this carefully constructed image. I turned my Instagram into something that generates income and opportunities. But I lost someone who cared about me because I valued that image more than I valued his feelings. I chose aesthetic over authenticity. I chose brand over boyfriend. I chose Instagram over actual human connection. And maybe, just maybe, that was the wrong choice. but I'm still not ready to fully admit that. Because admitting that means admitting that everything I've built is shallow and meaningless, that the followers and likes and brand deals don't actually matter, that I've been chasing something empty, and if I admit that, what do I have left? Just an Instagram full of pretty pictures and no one to share real life with, just thousands of followers who don't actually know me, just a carefully curated illusion that looks perfect but feels hollow. I told my boyfriend he wasn't attractive enough to post on my Instagram. I thought I was being honest, being practical, being smart about my brand. He posted my ugly pictures on his story in response, and the internet decided he was the hero and I was the villain. Maybe they're right. Maybe valuing my Instagram aesthetic over his feelings was shallow and cruel and wrong. Maybe caring more about how things look than how things feel is the problem. Maybe building a perfect image while destroying real relationships is exactly as bad as everyone says it is. Or maybe, and this is what I still sometimes think late at night when I'm scrolling through comments and losing followers, maybe the world just doesn't understand how important social media is to some people. Maybe they don't get that your Instagram is your brand, your livelihood, your identity. Maybe they don't understand that maintaining that brand requires hard choices and high standards. Maybe I wasn't wrong to protect what I'd built. I was just wrong to explain it so bluntly. Or maybe that's just me still refusing to accept responsibility. Still blaming Derek for being oversensitive. Still blaming the internet for not understanding. Still blaming everyone except myself for the choices I made. My therapist would say that's exactly what I'm doing. That I'm still in denial, still not taking full responsibility, still finding ways to justify behavior that hurt someone I claim to care about. And she's probably right. But admitting that means admitting I'm exactly as shallow as everyone says. Means admitting I valued likes and followers over a real human being. Means admitting I deserved what he did to me. And I'm not ready to admit that yet. Maybe I never will be. Maybe I'll always believe I was just being practical, just managing my brand, just making smart choices about my social media presence. Maybe I'll always think he overreacted, that his revenge was disproportionate, that posting those photos was cruel. Or maybe someday I'll understand what everyone else seems to get, that people aren't props for your Instagram aesthetic, that relationships aren't brand partnerships to be managed, that love shouldn't be contingent on photogenic appeal. That being honest about shallow values doesn't make those values any less shallow. That some things are more important than likes and followers and carefully curated images. Someday I might understand all of that, but today is not that day. Today I'm still the girl who told her boyfriend he wasn't attractive enough for her Instagram. And he's still the guy who posted my ugly pictures in response. And the internet is still laughing at me. And I still think deep down that I didn't deserve this. Even though everyone, including my therapist, my friends, my family, and 15,000 strangers on Instagram, disagrees. I told my boyfriend he wasn't attractive enough to post. He posted my ugly pictures. And somehow, I'm the villain. Even though I was just being honest, even though I was just protecting my brand, even though I was just doing what everyone does, just more transparently. That's what I tell myself, and maybe someday I'll stop believing it. But not today.